Wideduck here with another Starcraft 2 replay. This time it's Game 2 of the RSL Finals between Bomber and Life. So in the top right, we've got Bomber spawning as your blue Terran. And on the bottom left, we have Life spawning as the red Zerg here on Kiru. So if you missed the first game, basically Life went for a 10 pool, and it was a 4-player map, and unfortunately for him, it was a cross-position spawn, so it took a lot longer for his Zerglings to get over to Bomber's base, and Bomber decided to do high ground CC first, and basically once the Zerglings got their ramp, it was blocked with barracks, supply depot, and a command center, and from there on, Life had a huge deficit and couldn't recover. So it'll be interesting to see what Life decides to do now. He's not going to do a 10 pool again this time. Mind you, this map, even though it is cross position, you don't have to scout as much because it is a 2-player map. So Bomber has a supply depot down, and Life hasn't built anything yet. He might be going for spawning pool or hatchery first. Something interesting of note is, if you don't know who Bomber is, Bomber actually is quite a very good player, as recently in the GSL format, in the round-robin stages, he actually 2-0'd Innovation, and Innovation currently is arguably the best player in the world, as Life puts down his second hatchery. Innovation then went on to play Maru and got 4-0'd by Maru in the semifinals of the GSL, but Innovation did help SDX Seoul defeat Woonjin Stars in the finals of the Pro League. So Innovation is still the man to beat. I guess that Terran versus Terran is his weakness, as Bomber and Maru has demonstrated. Bomber this time elects to build a command center actually on the low ground first. So probably some mind games, thinking Life is not going to do another 10 pool or 6 pool. So he's pretty confident, puts the command center on the low ground, has the barracks running, and also has the refinery going. Life's spawning pool is almost completed, as his Overlord is going to find the high ground here by this big whatever thing this is, big dog, or I don't know what kind of animal that is. Going to be hanging out on the high ground here, going to be able to spot that building command center. Bomber has 3 workers on gas. He's going to start off with the Marine. Life still doesn't have any gas, so once again, he's not electing for more map control. A lot of players like to get Zergling speed really quickly so they can have control of the map. Life has not done that in Game 1 or Game 2. Bomber is building a bunker, protecting his natural, and has put down a factory. But Bomber has to be careful here, as Life is sending a streak of Zerglings into his base. And those Zerglings can just go around the one bunker with the one Marine. And that's what the Zerglings are going to do. Going to be able to kill one Zergling. But the rest of the Zerglings stream into Bomber's base. And this is going to be a huge problem. And there's actually one more Zergling at the natural as well. And now Bomber's going to have to pull the SCVs off the line. And he's not controlling that Marine. Marine takes a couple free shots. This second Marine is going to get surrounded. Marine's down to 10 life. And is enveloped by the Zerglings. The Zerglings are still harassing and doing damage to the Mule. The Mule has 10 life, 2 more hits, and the Mule will go down. Bomber's able to micro, and there's only 1 Zergling left. And he has the wall off now. So that attack was not entirely useless. He was able to kill off 1 SCV and kill a Marine. And was able to get scouting information. He was able to see the factory. And lucky for Bomber, even though a lot of his SCVs are damaged, they're not dead. And he's going to send his first Hellion out to scout out as he's building his 3rd command center. A whole bunch of queens being built. Has 2 gas up. Life has 2 gas up. And if you look at the supply difference, he's built a 50% supply difference lead. That does not necessarily mean much, because most of that's going to be in drones, as this Hellion is scared away. But unfortunately, Bomber does not know that this Overlord is spying on everything he's doing. Actually, the Overlord has not spotted the 3rd CC. So Life might think there's more aggression coming in, but Bomber's just going for the heavy macroeconomic game as he's building 2 more refineries and pumping out a lot of Hellions. He's putting down 2 more barracks as Life is taking his 3rd. And the creep spread is pretty good by Life. He's got 2 queens shooting out those tumors, and they're going up, they're going left, they're going down, they're going everywhere as he's building 2 evolution chambers to block off his natural. He has to be careful here, though. If the Hellions get really close to this position, the Zerglings and the Queens can only stay in this position, and basically the Hellions will hit everything. So, if there's ever a confrontation here, that could be a problem for Life. He's getting double upgrades for Melee and Carapace, as his 3rd is about to complete. Bomber is sending out 3 more Hellions with his other 2 Hellions to get some more scouting information while he's researching stem packs, and has the 2nd engineering bay almost complete. The Queens are ready. The Overlords spotted the 5 Hellions. The Hellions are scared away again. They're not going to be able to do too much. And there's lots of creep spread. There's lots of creep spread. Almost connecting between the 1st and 2nd base, but Life doesn't think he needs it. Life is going to be scaring away those Hellions again and droning up. The 3rd CC is not going to get spotted by Life. The Overlord was over here to the left a little bit before. He could have saw that CC, but he moved the Overlord, and now he's not going to see it as the Marines are heading out and going to help protect that 3rd base. And these Hellions are not doing much. Generally, what the Hellions want to do is they want to control the creep spread. They were able to kill 1 tumor there. They want to control the creep spread, maybe kill some Zerglings, get some intel, harass, and basically the Queens were scaring them away every single chance. And these Marines have to be very careful. These Marines are going to get finished. Wedges in between the 2 Vespene Geysers, but the Marines are still taking lots of damage. There's 1 Marine versus 3 Zerglings, and that's not going to work. The Hellions are going to come in and finally burn the rest of the Zerglings into incinerated ashes, but that took a while, and now Life knows that Bomber has his 3rd up and running. Bomber's going to build a bunker. Creep spread is still pretty good for Life. He's going everywhere, up, left, right, and down. Like I said before, Bomber was not able to prevent the spread of creep very well, and so it's going to take a lot of scans to clean up these tumors. He's going to send in the Hellions again to do some cleanup work, but he's only able, actually, good micro by Life, he's actually canceled the creep tumor, so the Hellions didn't even actually kill the tumor. Got a couple Whittle Mines at his 3rd. Bomber is also building a sensor tower. He's going to be able to see basically everything that's going to try to come in at his 3rd. Got the Whittle Mines and the full bunker. And has his 1-1 already completed. Is able to kill the Zergling. Zergling is able to see the sensor tower. While Life is getting his 4th. This game is pretty standard up to this point. Large micrograme. Gonna send the 5 Hellions and 2 Widow Mines in, and the Queens are gonna dump off more creep tumors as he's. Oh, well, the Hellions are gonna clean up some of the creep tumors, but he needs to get rid of the active ones. Otherwise, they're gonna put down more tumors, and he's able to clean up all the active ones, at least on the right side of the map. But there's a counterattack that's looming. Whole bunch of Banelings got morphed in, and this 1 bunker is going to go down. The SCVs are repairing frantically, but I think these Banelings, yep, the SCVs are getting pulled. The Zerglings are actually blocking the Banelings, and finally the bunker goes down. The SCVs are coming back in, but there's another large Zergling pack at the top of the base. Kaldor's left the game. Maybe he got dropped or something. That's unfortunate. Yes, Kaldor is in Korea right now. Gonna be morphing in some Banelings at the top. Bomber has a 10 supply advantage, and that's pretty normal in a macro Terran versus Zerg game, as he's planning to drop on the 4th. This Zerg force is not doing anything, waiting for more Banelings, but it looks like he's going to come in for a run by. While all this is happening, Bomber's main force is in the middle map, not doing much. The 2 drops was not able to do much. A whole bunch of the Marines were killed. They're going to run away, while the Zergling force is going to pick at this empty bunker. The supply D was going to take the brunt of the damage, and the Banelings are going to run away. So all attacks were basically thwarted. The defender gets the advantage. Bomber's going to come in, pop off an Overlord at the top. The supplies are basically identical. The Zerglings and Banelings, you got to watch out here. Bomber puts in the splits. The Mutalists are also coming in, able to pick off a whole bunch of units. and Bomber's actually at a 15 supply disadvantage. Now that Widow Mine was able to kill 14 units. That's going to even it up quite a bit, but Bomber is still at a 10 supply disadvantage. And you have to remember, Life has his 4th base up and running, and he also has the double geyser. So he's able to spend more resources on upgrades and also be able to upgrade and build more Mutalisks. He's got a whole bunch of Mutalisks. If you take a look at the army supply, the Mutalisks are just picking off some Widow Mines with that Overseer. The Marines are going to come into the top left and try to do some damage to these creep tumors. While there is a drop at the bottom side, the Marines are attacking Zerglings. Generally, these drops you want to... Whoa, that was a good kill by the Widow Mine. Drops usually want to do economic damage or structural damage, but picking off Zerglings is generally not a good trait. At the top, we have a huge Baneling attack. The Marines are trying to defend against the Mutalings versus the Mutalists and Zerglings. He's not able to do that. The Medivacs are going to run away. In the bottom left, we still have this drop going on. This mine's not doing anything, just getting hit. And it's not being microed and actually was not able to burrow. Life's going to build a Spore Crawler, and Life has built a substantial advantage, as there's about a 40 supply difference. The army is 20 ahead for Life. And Bomber's going to go for another drop at the bottom left. The last 2 attacks weren't good. Try again for the 3rd time. Maybe it'll be lucky. The Widow Mines bury right away. One goes down, but now there's no Medivacs healing them. I'm going to try and take down this Distractor, but these Mutalisks are going to be able to take down these Marines. The Mutalisks are very afraid of the Widow Mines. The Widow Mine is able to get 1 Mutalisk and damage the rest, but the Mutalisks are very quickly regenerating, and that's one of the advantages in Heart of the Swarm. Bomber's going to clean up a whole bunch of creep tumors. Unfortunately, none of these are active tumors, while the Zerglings and Mutalisks zoom in. And that's a lot of Mutalisks. And the Mutalisks are just going to chomp on all those Marines. The Marines are going to be finished. They can't do anything about that. And basically, every single drop, every single attack by Bomber is being thwarted. And now there's a 50 supply difference. Life is actually maxed out. These Zerglings are going to get chomped on. There's one Baneling in there. There's no micro. Got to be careful here as the Mutalisks come in as well. Substantial damage done to both sides, but Bomber is behind significantly as it's 4 bases to 3. Also, his army supply is also a lot lower. So he has to be very careful here. He's down by 40 supply in army, so he needs very efficient trades. And they're both at 2-2, so there's no upgrade advantage. Bomber's going to try and land his 4th. Life can sniff it out immediately. He's going to take down these 2 Marines. Going to block that landing. The Widow Mines bury, and the Baneling takes down 6 Marines. The Mine takes out a whole bunch of Zerglings, but that's not going to be enough for Bomber, as the Mutaling attack is able to finish off all the Marines there. The Mine takes off, destroys a few Zerglings. The 4th is trying to run away, but this is going to get destroyed by the Mutalisks. So there goes 400 resources. More Marines are going to be streaming in and trying to defeat this group of Mutalisks, Banelings, and Zerglings. Whole bunch of mines are not going to be able to do too much here. Actually, the explosion of that Baneling destroyed 3 mines. Going to be able to scare away this force temporarily, but Life is rolling back in. And he's got another Zerg force on the bottom, and reinforcements coming from the top at the 2nd choke point. The Marines are doing everything they can, but there's a huge 70 supply difference. The Zerglings are just marching into the base, picking off all the Widow Mines. There's no Marines. The supply depots are getting attacked. The 3rd is on fire. The command center is attacked. The SCV's all under attack. Actually, the Zerglings are going to go into the natural and the main instead of attacking the 3rd. There's not that many Zerglings left, just a couple. And the SCVs are going to try and repair this supply depot, but they're all getting attacked and harassed by all those bouncing glaives. The Mutalisks are going to go away right now, as Bomber has been able to temporarily repel this attack, but that's a lot of Mutalisks, and if you take a look at the supply difference, he's not going to be able to do too much. Dump off a whole bunch of mules, cancels the command center as he needs the resources immediately to build up a larger army force, and actually he's lost more resources than his Zerg player, and that's never a good sign, especially when Zerg has 1 more additional base. So it's going to be very difficult for Bomber to get back into this game. I don't see it happening. Life is actually going to attack these destructible rocks in the little map while he sends a pack of 30 Mutalisks into the main. Going to destroy the medevac, harassing the production line. The Marines are going to scare it away, that large pack of Mutalisks, but they're just going to regenerate. Able to pick out a creep tumor. 1 Widow Mine goes down. Life is microing the Mutalisks, just going in and out. harassing Bomber, not letting him not leaving him a chance to concentrate. The Banelings and Zerglings are all marching in. That's one large Baneling hit. 8 Marines go down. Mutalisk able to pick off all the Marines. There's only a few Marines and 3 medevacs left, or 4 medevacs left. The Mutalisks are still all alive, and the Banelings are able to destroy another huge pack of Marines. The Marines are trying to do everything they can, but there's a 60 supply difference. He's actually under 100 supply. Now, and there's another drop by Bomber into the 4th, and he's actually successful into doing quite a bit of damage to his hatchery, but the Zerglings are going to munch on those guys, while Bomber's 3rd is under attack by the Mutalisk. There's only 1 Marine in that bunker. You're not going to be able to do too much. Bomber's not microing this group either. He's able to actually destroy the hatchery, so that's a good pick off by Bomber, but he does not know that Life is actually building his 5th at the top left, while his own 2nd is under attack. His 3rd is virtually all dead, and he GG's out. Life was continuously putting pressure on Bomber on all pressures on all sections of the map. Bomber was trying to drop. He dropped at Life's 4th 3 times. Each attack failed. He tried to attack at the top. All those attacks failed, and Life was able to build a large supply advantage, and he was able to run that momentum all the way to the end of the game. Bomber GG's out, and so Game 2 comes to a finish. We'll go to Game 3. The series is tied 1-1.